The biting wind whipped across my face as I stood at the edge of the world. Antarctica stretched out before me, a vast expanse of white that seemed to go on forever. As an explorer, there was no place more alluring than this desolate, untouched continent. The sheer isolation and the promise of the unknown called to me like a siren's song. When the opportunity for an expedition arose, I leapt at the chance without a second thought. The challenges of the brutal cold and treacherous terrain were exactly the kind of tests I thrived on. Our team, led by the seasoned and stoic Dr. James Carter, had set up base camp near the Ross Ice Shelf. The plan was to conduct a series of geological surveys and ice core samplings over the course of several weeks. Each morning, we would venture out into the frozen wilderness, bundled in layers of thermal gear, our breath visible in the icy air. The landscape was both mesmerizing and intimidating, a vast, white desert where the line between sky and ground often blurred. One morning, as we prepared for another day of exploration, Dr. Carter gathered us around. "Listen up, everyone," he said, his voice carrying authority and a hint of excitement. "Today's forecast predicts a severe snowstorm. We'll need to stay close to camp and ensure all equipment is secured." I remember nodding, feeling a familiar thrill at the thought of braving the elements. The storm was just another obstacle to overcome. As the day progressed, the sky darkened, and the wind picked up, howling like a living creature. By afternoon, the storm was upon us, a swirling mass of snow and ice that reduced visibility to almost nothing. I found myself separated from the group, my radio crackling with static as I tried to communicate my position. "This is Alex. Can anyone hear me?" I called out, but the storm swallowed my words. I squinted against the blinding whiteness, trying to get my bearings. That's when I saw it, a dark shape looming in the distance. It was a cave, its entrance barely visible against the snow-covered landscape. Driven by instinct and the need for shelter, I stumbled toward it. The wind seemed to push me along, urging me forward. As I reached the mouth of the cave, I hesitated for a moment. There was something foreboding about it, a sense that I was about to cross a threshold into the unknown. But the cold was relentless, and I had no choice. I stepped inside, leaving the storm behind. The cave enveloped me in darkness, the howling wind replaced by an eerie silence. I switched on my flashlight, the beam cutting through the shadows. The air inside was surprisingly warm, a stark contrast to the freezing temperatures outside. I took a deep breath, grateful for the respite. Little did I know, this cave would be the gateway to an adventure beyond my wildest dreams. As I settled into the relative comfort of the cave, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was not alone. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end, and I turned, half expecting to see another figure emerge from the shadows. But there was nothing, only the steady drip of water echoing through the cavern. I radioed again, hoping to reach Dr. Carter or anyone from the team. "This is Alex. I've found shelter in a cave. Can anyone hear me?" The static persisted, offering no reply. I sighed, resigning myself to wait out the storm here. My thoughts drifted to the expedition, the thrill of discovery that had brought me here. I was an explorer by nature, always seeking the next frontier, the next mystery to unravel. As I sat there, the cave seemed to beckon me deeper. The warmth was puzzling, almost inviting. I couldn't resist the pull of curiosity, that insatiable drive to know what lay beyond. I stood, my flashlight in hand, and ventured further into the darkness. The passage twisted and turned, the walls narrowing at points, forcing me to squeeze through. The air grew warmer still, and I could feel a slight breeze, as if the cave itself was breathing. It was both exhilarating and unnerving, the sense that I was walking into the unknown, each step taking me further from the familiar world outside. I paused for a moment, listening to the silence. My mind raced with possibilities, the thrill of discovery mingling with a tinge of fear. What lay ahead? What secrets did this cave hold? I was about to find out, and the anticipation was electric. As I ventured deeper into the cave, the warmth became more pronounced, wrapping around me like a comforting blanket. It was a stark contrast to the relentless cold outside, and I felt an overwhelming sense of relief. The storm that raged beyond the cave's entrance was now a distant roar, muffled by the thick stone walls. Here, in this unexpected refuge, I could finally catch my breath and collect my thoughts. The cave's interior was unlike anything I had anticipated. The walls were smooth, almost polished, and seemed to shimmer faintly in the dim light of my flashlight. I ran my fingers along the surface, feeling the cool, almost glass-like texture beneath my gloves. It was as if the cave had been carved by some ancient force, shaped by time and nature into this perfect shelter. As I moved further in, the passageway widened into a larger chamber. The air was surprisingly fresh, carrying a subtle, earthy scent that reminded me of damp soil after a rainstorm. I took a deep breath, savoring the unexpected tranquility of this hidden sanctuary. "Hello," I called out, my voice echoing off the walls. It was a habit, perhaps, the need to fill the silence with sound, to reassure myself that I was not entirely alone. But the cave offered no response, only the gentle drip of water somewhere in the distance. I set my backpack down and rummaged through it, pulling out a small camping stove and a packet of instant coffee. The familiar ritual of preparing a hot drink was grounding, a reminder of the routines that had sustained me through countless expeditions. As the water heated, I listened to the soft hiss of the stove, a comforting sound in the otherwise silent cave. Sipping the steaming coffee, I allowed myself to relax, my mind drifting back to how I had ended up here. The expedition, the storm, the frantic search for shelter, all of it seemed surreal now, as if it had happened to someone else. Yet the cave was real, its warmth and mystery undeniable. I couldn't help but wonder about the source of the warmth. Was it geothermal activity? Some hidden vent beneath the Earth's crust? The scientist in me was intrigued, eager to explore and understand. But for now, I was content to simply be, to let the cave envelop me in its quiet embrace. As I sat there, my thoughts were interrupted by a faint, rhythmic sound. It was subtle at first, almost imperceptible, but gradually grew louder, resonating through the chamber. I stood, flashlight in hand, and followed the sound. My curiosity piqued. The passageway narrowed once more, leading me deeper into the heart of the cave. The sound became clearer, revealing itself to be the steady drip of water cascading over rocks. I rounded a bend and found myself in another chamber, this one dominated by a small underground stream. The water glistened in the light of my flashlight, its surface rippling gently as it flowed over smooth stones. I knelt by the stream, dipping my fingers into the cool, clear water. It was a reminder of the life that existed even in the most unexpected places, a testament to nature's resilience and adaptability. The stream's presence explained the cave's humidity and the earthy scent that permeated the air. As I explored the chamber, I noticed something unusual, a faint glow emanating from the walls. I moved closer, my flashlight revealing clusters of bioluminescent fungi clinging to the stone. Their soft, ethereal light cast a gentle glow, illuminating the cave in shades of blue and green. It was a breathtaking sight, a hidden world of beauty that few had ever witnessed. I marveled at the fungi, their luminescence and natural wonder that defied explanation. How had they come to thrive in this isolated environment? What other secrets did this cave hold? The questions swirled in my mind, each one a tantalizing mystery waiting to be unraveled. Lost in thought, I almost didn't notice the faint outline of a path leading further into the cave. It was subtle, a barely discernible trail worn into the stone by centuries of water flow. But it was there, beckoning me onward, promising more discoveries beyond the reach of my flashlight. I hesitated for a moment, weighing the risks of venturing deeper into the unknown. The cave was a sanctuary, yes, but it was also an enigma, a place that defied the rules of the world outside. Yet, the explorer in me, the part that thrived on the thrill of discovery, urged me forward. With a deep breath, I stepped onto the path, my footsteps echoing softly in the chamber. The cave seemed to hold its breath, as if anticipating the journey ahead. I followed the trail, my flashlight guiding the way, each step taking me further into the heart of this hidden world. The cave's path wound deeper into the earth, twisting and turning like a serpentine river carved over millennia. Each step I took echoed softly, a rhythmic accompaniment to the steady drip of water from the stalactites above. The air was warm and humid, carrying the scent of damp stone and the faint, sweet aroma of the bioluminescent fungi that clung to the walls. As I followed the path, the light from my flashlight danced across the surfaces, revealing intricate patterns etched into the stone. It was as if the cave itself was a canvas, painted over eons by the slow, deliberate hand of nature. I paused occasionally, captivated by the beauty of these natural artworks, each one telling a story of time and transformation. The passage narrowed at points, forcing me to squeeze through tight spaces, the rock walls pressing close on either side. It was a reminder of the cave's ancient origins, a labyrinthine network shaped by forces beyond my comprehension. Yet, despite the challenges, there was a sense of peace here, a tranquility that seemed to envelop me as I ventured further into the unknown. Eventually, the passage opened into a larger chamber, and I stopped in my tracks, my breath catching in my throat. The ceiling soared above me, disappearing into shadow, while the floor stretched out in a vast expanse, dotted with clusters of stalagmites. But it was the walls that held my attention, their surfaces shimmering with a dazzling array of crystals. I approached one of the walls, my flashlight illuminating the crystal's facets. They sparkled like 1,000 tiny stars, casting prisms of light that danced across the chamber. It was a breathtaking sight, a hidden treasure buried deep within the earth, untouched by human hands. As I marveled at the crystals, I noticed something unusual, a narrow fissure in the wall, almost hidden among the glittering formations. It was a crack, barely wide enough for a person to pass through, but it beckoned me with the promise of further discovery. I hesitated for a moment, considering the risks. The fissure was narrow and dark, a gateway into the unknown, but the pull of curiosity was irresistible, a siren's call that I could not ignore. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for what lay ahead, and slipped through the opening. The passage beyond was tight, the walls pressing close on either side. I moved cautiously, my flashlight guiding the way, its beam cutting through the darkness. The air was cooler here, the warmth of the cave replaced by a refreshing chill that invigorated my senses. As I navigated the narrow corridor, I became aware of a faint, rhythmic sound echoing through the passage. It was subtle at first, a low hum that seemed to resonate from the very walls themselves. I paused, listening intently, trying to discern its source. It was unlike anything I had heard before, a sound both alien and familiar, as if the cave itself was alive, its heart beating beneath the stone. Intrigued, I pressed on, the sound growing louder with each step. The passage twisted and turned, leading me deeper into the earth, until finally, it opened into another chamber. I stepped inside, my flashlight revealing a space that defied all expectations. The chamber was vast, its ceiling lost in shadow, while the floor was covered in a thick carpet of moss that glowed faintly in the darkness. The air was filled with the rhythmic hum, a symphony of sound that seemed to emanate from the very walls. But it was the center of the chamber that drew my attention, a pool of water, its surface shimmering with an otherworldly light. I approached the pool, my footsteps silent on the moss-covered ground. The water was perfectly still, its surface reflecting the glow of the surrounding moss. I knelt by the edge, dipping my fingers into the cool, clear liquid. It was refreshing, a reminder of the life that thrived in this hidden world. As I gazed into the pool, I noticed something extraordinary, an intricate network of tunnels beneath the surface, their walls lined with the same bioluminescent fungi that adorned the cave. It was a subterranean ecosystem, a hidden world within a world, teeming with life and mystery. I sat by the pool for a while, lost in thought, contemplating the wonders I had discovered. This cave was more than just a refuge from the storm. It was a gateway to a realm that defied explanation, a place where the boundaries between reality and fantasy blurred. Eventually, I tore myself away from the pool, my mind buzzing with possibilities. There was so much more to explore, so many secrets yet to be uncovered. With renewed determination, I rose to my feet, ready to continue my journey into the heart of this hidden world. Emerging from the narrow passage, I found myself standing at the threshold of a world that seemed to exist outside the bounds of time and reality. The cavernous space before me was unlike anything I had ever encountered, a vast, sprawling ecosystem hidden beneath the ice of Antarctica. It was a world teeming with life, vibrant and untamed, its existence a testament to nature's resilience and mystery. The chamber was immense, its ceiling soaring high above, lost in a haze of mist and shadow. Sunlight, or something akin to it, filtered down from fissures in the rock, casting a soft, golden glow over the landscape. It was as if I had stepped into a forgotten realm, a place untouched by the passage of time. As I descended into this hidden valley, the air was filled with the sounds of life, birds chirping, the rustle of leaves, and the distant calls of creatures unknown. The ground was lush with vegetation, a tapestry of greens and browns that stretched as far as the eye could see. It was a jungle, vibrant and alive, a stark contrast to the icy wasteland above. I moved cautiously, my senses heightened, every sound and movement drawing my attention. The flora here was unlike anything I had ever seen. Towering ferns with fronds that reached skyward, their leaves glistening with dew. Flowers of every color imaginable, their petals shimmering in the dappled light. It was a botanical wonderland, a living museum of prehistoric life. As I ventured deeper into this lost world, I caught sight of movement out of the corner of my eye. Turning, I saw them, creatures that defied all logic and expectation. Lizards, but not like any lizards I had known. These were large, almost dinosaurian in appearance, their scales a riot of colors that seemed to shift and change with the light. They moved with a fluid grace, their eyes watchful and intelligent. I watched, captivated, as a group of these creatures basked on a sunlit rock, their bodies absorbing the warmth. They were magnificent, a living testament to the adaptability of life, thriving in this hidden sanctuary. As I continued my exploration, I stumbled upon a sight that took my breath away. In a clearing, partially obscured by the dense foliage, stood a creature of myth and legend, a mammoth. Its massive form was unmistakable, its shaggy coat a deep russet brown that glistened in the sunlight. It moved slowly, its trunk swaying gently as it grazed on the lush vegetation. The mammoth was not alone. Nearby, a calf stood close to its mother, its small trunk playfully exploring the world around it. The sight was awe-inspiring, a glimpse into a past long thought extinct. I stood there, transfixed, watching these gentle giants go about their lives, oblivious to the world outside. It was then that I realized the true significance of this place. It was a refuge, a sanctuary for creatures that had once roamed the earth in abundance. Here, in this hidden world, they had found a haven, a place where time stood still and nature thrived in all its glory. I spent hours exploring, each discovery more wondrous than the last. There were birds with iridescent plumage, their songs echoing through the trees, insects of every shape and size, their wings a blur of color and motion. It was a world alive with possibility, a testament to the enduring power of life. As the day wore on, I found myself drawn to a small stream that wound its way through the valley. The water was crystal clear, its surface dancing with the reflections of the surrounding foliage. I knelt by the bank, cupping my hands to drink, the cool water a refreshing balm in the warm air. It was there, by the stream, that I encountered another marvel, a group of small, bipedal creatures, their bodies covered in fine, downy feathers. They moved in unison, their heads bobbing rhythmically as they foraged along the water's edge. They were unlike anything I had ever seen, a reminder that this world held secrets beyond my wildest imagination. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the valley, I knew it was time to return. The journey back through the cave would be long, and I needed to ensure I could find my way. But as I turned to leave, I took one last look at the hidden world, committing every detail to memory. This place, with its wonders and mysteries, was a gift, a glimpse into the beauty and complexity of life. It was a reminder of the world that once was, and the enduring power of nature to surprise and inspire. As I made my way back through the passage, I felt a profound sense of gratitude and awe, knowing that I had witnessed something truly extraordinary. Returning to the familiar confines of the cave, my mind buzzed with the enormity of what I had just witnessed. The hidden world beyond the passage was a revelation, a living tableau of a bygone era, preserved against all odds beneath the icy grip of Antarctica. My thoughts raced with questions, each one more pressing than the last. How was this possible? How could such a vibrant ecosystem exist, untouched by the ravages of time and climate? I settled down in a small alcove of the cave, the warmth enveloping me like a comforting embrace. The rhythmic drip of water echoed softly around me, a natural metronome that seemed to sync with my heartbeat. I pulled out my notebook, the pages blank and waiting to be filled with the details of my extraordinary discovery. As I began to write, the enormity of the task ahead became clear. This was no ordinary expedition. It was a journey into the very heart of nature's greatest mysteries. My mind drifted back to the creatures I had seen, the colorful lizards, the majestic mammoth and its calf, the bipedal, feathered beings by the stream. Each one was a living question mark, challenging everything I thought I knew about evolution and extinction. How had they survived? What had allowed them to flourish in this hidden sanctuary, shielded from the harsh realities of the outside world? The scientist in me craved answers, a logical explanation that could make sense of the impossible. I considered the cave's unique environment, the geothermal warmth, the abundance of plant life, the presence of fresh water, all factors that could have contributed to the survival of these species. Perhaps this was a microcosm, a self-sustaining ecosystem that had developed in isolation, protected by the very ice that covered it. But even as I formulated hypotheses, I knew that the true answers lay beyond my immediate grasp. This was a discovery that would require the expertise of biologists, ecologists, and geologists, each one bringing their knowledge to bear on this ancient puzzle. Yet, the thought of sharing this secret with the world filled me with apprehension. The cave, with its delicate balance, was fragile, and I feared the consequences of human interference. I paused in my writing, the pen hovering over the page, as a memory surfaced. Dr. James Carter, my mentor and the leader of our expedition, his voice echoing in my mind. Every discovery has its price, Alex, he had once told me, his eyes serious and contemplative. It's not just about what we find, but how we choose to handle it. Remember, some things are worth preserving, even if it means keeping them hidden. His words resonated with me now more than ever. I understood the weight of responsibility that came with such a discovery, the delicate balance between knowledge and preservation. The cave was a sanctuary, a refuge for creatures that had once roamed the earth in abundance. To expose it to the world was to risk its destruction, the loss of a natural wonder that had endured for millennia. As I sat there, the notebook open before me, I realized that my role was not just that of an explorer, but a guardian of secrets. The cave was an enigma, a testament to the resilience of life and the mysteries of the natural world. It was a story that needed to be told, but carefully, with respect for the delicate balance that sustained it. I resumed writing, my pen moving swiftly across the pages, capturing every detail, every observation. The lizards with their iridescent scales, the mammoth's gentle eyes, the songs of the birds that filled the air. It was a symphony of life, a tapestry woven from the threads of time and evolution. Each page was a testament to the wonder I had experienced, a record of the beauty and complexity of this hidden world. As the hours passed, the cave grew darker, the light from my flashlight casting long shadows on the walls. I felt a deep sense of peace, a connection to the world around me that transcended the confines of the cave. This was more than just a scientific discovery. It was a journey into the heart of nature's greatest mysteries, a reminder of the enduring power of life to adapt and survive. Eventually, I closed the notebook, the pages filled with the story of my journey. I knew that the path ahead would not be easy, that the decisions I faced would be challenging and fraught with uncertainty. But I was ready, armed with the knowledge that I had witnessed something truly extraordinary, a glimpse into the enigma of the ages. With a final glance at the cave, I gathered my belongings and began the journey back through the passage. The path was familiar now, a comforting reminder of the world I had discovered. As I stepped into the darkness, I felt a sense of purpose, a determination to protect the secrets of the cave and the creatures that called it home. The journey back through the cave was a contemplative one, each step echoing the weight of the discoveries I had made. The warmth of the cave had given way to the cooler air of the passage, a reminder of the boundary between the hidden world and the icy expanse of Antarctica above. As I emerged into the larger chamber where I had first found refuge, I paused, my mind racing with the implications of what I had seen. The creatures, the ecosystem, the very existence of such a place. It was a revelation that could change our understanding of the natural world. Yet, with that revelation came a profound sense of responsibility. The cave was a sanctuary, a fragile haven for species that had long been thought extinct. To reveal its existence to the world was to risk its destruction, the intrusion of human curiosity and exploitation. I settled down on a smooth rock, my thoughts heavy with the weight of the dilemma before me. The rhythmic drip of water was a soothing backdrop, a reminder of the cave's timeless nature. I pulled out my notebook, flipping through the pages filled with my observations and sketches. Each entry was a testament to the wonder I had experienced, a record of the beauty and complexity of this hidden world. As I pondered my next steps, the words of Dr. James Carter echoed in my mind. "Every discovery has its price, Alex," he had said. "It's not just about what we find, but how we choose to handle it." His wisdom had guided me through countless expeditions, and now it was more relevant than ever. The thought of sharing my discovery with the scientific community was tempting. The cave was a treasure trove of information, a living laboratory that could provide insights into evolution, climate change, and the resilience of life. But the risks were equally daunting. Human interference could disrupt the delicate balance of the ecosystem, introducing contaminants and disturbances that could spell disaster for the creatures that called it home. I could already envision the headlines, the rush of scientists and explorers eager to study the cave. The thought filled me with a sense of dread. The cave was not just a scientific curiosity. It was a living, breathing world, deserving of protection and respect. The decision weighed heavily on my shoulders, a moral quandary that offered no easy answers. Lost in thought, I barely noticed the approach of footsteps until a familiar voice broke the silence. "Alex, is that you?" I looked up to see Dr. Carter standing at the entrance of the chamber, his face etched with concern. He had clearly been searching for me, his expression a mix of relief and curiosity. "James," I said, my voice echoing in the cavern. "I didn't expect to see you here." He approached, his eyes scanning the chamber before settling on me. "We lost contact with you during the storm. When you didn't return, I feared the worst." He paused, his gaze intense. "What happened? Where did you go?" I took a deep breath, the enormity of my discovery pressing down on me. "James, I found something. Something incredible." I gestured towards the passage I had emerged from. "There's a hidden world beyond this cave, a place where creatures long thought extinct still thrive." His eyes widened in disbelief. "Are you serious? What did you find?" I recounted my journey, describing the vibrant ecosystem, the lizards, the mammoth, and the other extraordinary creatures I had encountered. As I spoke, his expression shifted from disbelief to awe, the weight of my words sinking in. This is beyond anything we could have imagined," he said, his voice hushed with wonder. "A living fossil record, right beneath our feet." I nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and apprehension. "But that's the problem, James. This place is fragile. If we reveal its existence, we risk destroying it. The world isn't ready for this kind of discovery. The impact could be catastrophic." He was silent for a moment, his brow furrowed in thought. "You're right," he said finally. "The potential for harm is immense, but we can't just ignore it. This discovery could change everything we know about life on Earth." I sighed, the weight of the dilemma pressing down on me. "I know, but we have to be careful. We have to find a way to protect this place, to ensure that it remains untouched by human interference." Dr. Carter nodded, his expression resolute. "We'll need to think carefully about our next steps. Perhaps we can document everything, create a detailed record, and then secure the cave." We can share the information with trusted colleagues, people who understand the importance of preservation. I felt a sense of relief at his words. Together, we could find a way to balance the pursuit of knowledge with the need for protection. The cave and its inhabitants deserved nothing less. As we discussed our plans, a sense of purpose settled over me. The journey was far from over, and the challenges ahead were daunting. But with careful consideration and a commitment to preservation, we could honor the wonder of this hidden world. The days that followed were a blur of activity and contemplation. Dr. Carter and I worked tirelessly to document every aspect of the hidden world we had discovered. We took detailed notes, photographs, and samples, all while ensuring that our presence did not disturb the delicate balance of the ecosystem. The cave had become our sanctuary, a place of both wonder and responsibility. Each evening, as we sat by the underground stream, we discussed our findings and the implications of our discovery. The rhythmic hum of the cave, the gentle glow of the bioluminescent fungi, and the distant calls of the creatures filled the air, creating an atmosphere of both serenity and urgency. One night, as we sat by the stream, Dr. Carter broke the silence. "Alex, I've been thinking about our next steps. We need to make a decision soon. The longer we stay here, the greater the risk of being discovered by others." I nodded, understanding the gravity of his words. "I agree, James, but we can't rush this. We need to ensure that whatever decision we make, it protects this place and its inhabitants." He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I've been in touch with a few trusted colleagues, people who understand the importance of preservation. They agree that the cave must remain a secret, at least for now. But we need to create a comprehensive record of our findings, something that can be shared with the scientific community when the time is right." I felt a sense of relief at his words. The idea of sharing our discovery with a select group of like-minded individuals gave me hope that we could find a way to balance knowledge and preservation. "That sounds like a good plan, James. We can document everything, create a detailed report, and then secure the cave. But we need to be careful. Even trusted colleagues can be tempted by the allure of such a discovery." He nodded, his expression serious. "I know. That's why we need to be meticulous in our documentation and selective in who we share it with. We can't afford to take any risks." Over the next few days, we worked with renewed determination. We mapped the cave in detail, noting every passage, chamber, and unique feature. We cataloged the flora and fauna, taking care to minimize our impact on the ecosystem. Every observation, every discovery was meticulously recorded, creating a comprehensive archive of our findings. As we worked, the cave continued to reveal its secrets. We discovered new species of plants and insects, each one a testament to the resilience of life. We observed the behavior of the creatures, noting their interactions and adaptations. It was a living laboratory, a microcosm of evolution and survival. One morning, as we were documenting a particularly vibrant cluster of fungi, Dr. Carter turned to me, his eyes thoughtful. "Alex, have you thought about what you'll do once we leave here? How will you handle the weight of this secret?" I paused, considering his question. The cave had become a part of me, its mysteries and wonders etched into my very being. "I don't know, James. This place has changed me. It's made me realize the importance of preservation, of protecting the natural world. I think I'll continue to explore, but with a greater focus on conservation. We have a responsibility to protect the wonders we find." He smiled, a look of approval in his eyes. "I think that's a wise decision. This discovery is a reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of stewardship. We need more explorers like you, people who understand that the pursuit of knowledge must be balanced with respect for the natural world." As the days turned into weeks, our documentation was nearly complete. The cave had become a second home, a place of both refuge and revelation. But we knew that our time here was drawing to a close. The storm that had initially driven me into the cave had long passed, and the outside world awaited. On our final day, we made our way to the entrance of the cave, our packs heavy with the weight of our findings. We paused at the threshold, taking one last look at the hidden world that had captured our hearts and minds. The warmth of the cave, the gentle glow of the fungi, and the distant calls of the creatures filled the air. a symphony of life that would remain with us forever. Dr. Carter turned to me, his expression solemn. "Are you ready, Alex?" I nodded, feeling a mix of sadness and resolve. "Yes, James. It's time to go. But we'll carry this place with us, in our hearts and in our work." With a final glance back, we stepped out of the cave and into the blinding light of the Antarctic day. The cold wind bit at our faces, a stark reminder of the world beyond the cave. But we were different now, changed by the wonders we had witnessed and the responsibility we carried. As we made our way back to base camp, I felt a sense of peace and purpose. The cave, with its secrets and mysteries, had taught me the importance of balance, of protecting the natural world while seeking to understand it. It was a lesson I would carry with me for the rest of my life. In the days that followed, we shared our findings with a select group of trusted colleagues, ensuring that the cave's location remained a closely guarded secret. We worked to create a plan for its protection, collaborating with conservationists and scientists who understood the importance of preserving such a unique ecosystem. The journey was far from over, but we had taken the first steps towards ensuring that the hidden world we had discovered would remain a sanctuary, a testament to the resilience and beauty of life. And as I continued my work as an explorer, I carried the lessons of the cave with me, a constant reminder of the wonders that lay hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered, protected,